when in St. Mary, we played Boo-Ray a lot.
Yeah. I could play Boo-Ray for some quarters. We used to play that on the crew boat.
So we'd play Boo-Ray, and then when I went to Nichols, that's how I learned.
They don't want to hear the Boo-Ray. They want to play. Let's play Pedro. It's basically close to Pedro, but it's basically spades.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's basically spades, Boo-Ray.
All right, take a seat.
This week, we are back for another wonderful week at Mighty Tamarind Distillers. We have Mr. Earl Eues here with us today. We're very excited. Mr. Earl Eues is the Director of Homeland Security for Emergency Preparedness, South Louisiana,
Terrebonne Parish.
Did I get that correct?
They only pay me for Terrebonne.
Okay. Yeah, he don't get paid for all of South.
Welcome, Mr. Earl.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming and sit down with us, have a few drinks, and talk to us.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
You're a good friend of mine, and we've been hanging out for a long time, and avid supporter.
I remember when you were that high.
Yeah, and a lot skinnier than I am now, probably. But you're an avid member of Terrebonne Parish, give back to the community on a lot of boards and committees, and thank you very much for being a guest on our show.
Glad to be here.
I like to start it off. I told you in the text message earlier. Who are you? What do you do?
I'm the director of the Terrebonne Parish Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness, and I know it's a lot to say, so we'll just cut that to TOSEP.
TOSEP.
TOSEP. New word we learned. TOSEP.
So I've been doing that. I was in that position for the last 12 years. Beforehand, I did work for Parish government from 93 to 2000.
Yep.
So I would be detailed to that Office of Emergency Preparedness.
I got you.
So I've been associated with the office for quite a while.
Long time.
And then Gustav came along, and the sheriff at the time was Vernon Bourgeois. Asked me to, in fact, I was fixing to evacuate. And Gustav came. And I was going to take my hurricane to Houston. And so Vernon called me and asked me to stay, and I said, well, let me check with my wife, make sure I can stay. She had to evacuate by herself with 2 small children. And she said, yeah, you can stay. And then the next question of Vernon said, well, what am I going to do? You're asking me to stay. I said, just go to the parish meetings and then come back and report to us. And then, so that's what I pretty much did. And then, after the storm, they had a big old meeting, and Michelle Claudet asked Vernon to take over the storm at the time. And so they had a cabinet member down from the federal government, Chertoff. He was the DHS secretary at the time. And you can't go into those meetings unless you're on the list. So I tried to get in, and they were like, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm like that guy's driver."
It's like trying to get the ball.
Yeah, no, you're not gonna be able to get in there. So Vernon was in that meeting for a lot of people were in there. Michelle Claudet was in there, Reggie Dupre, and some of the other legislators. Vernon comes out of that meeting and says, "Hey, look, Michelle would like for me to run the recovery portion of this hurricane." And I kind of laughed at him and said, well, who's going to do that for you?
And then he laughed at you.
When he didn't laugh, he kind of looked at me and says, well, I was hoping you were going to do it. So I said, we can do it. We can do it. So we did it. I did it for 3 weeks for the sheriff. Got Gustav back, the parish back up and running, and take little baby steps.
Because you were doing business at that time.
So yeah, I did, and that's why I wasn't working at the parish at the time. I do own an environmental consulting business, a Key Environmental Services. I had just started my business about 3 years, and I wasn't ready to just go back to work for the parish. But so that's how I got it. So I'd say that's how I got involved with emergency preparedness. But I was always involved when I started working for the parish back in 1991.
Right.
And at that time, it was with the sheriff's office, and Morris, the planner, was the supervisor in that position. He was over water patrol. So I was working with DEQ at the time, and before, and that's how I met Morris, the planners. They would say, "Hey, come ride with us when we go out on water patrol." They said, "Sometimes we see some of these places have some issues." I said, "All right, I'll go ride with you." So that's how I got pretty much involved in that aspect. The biggest thing I love about working for the parish is doing something for the people that live here.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, as long as I remember, you've been doing this and working for the parish.
It actually, took my next question. My question was going to be some of the rewards of the job. So working for the parish, what's maybe some of the things that the community don't see, like behind the scenes, that goes on for not only storm preparation, but any kind of emergency we may have.
Well, the biggest thing the parish doesn't see is the amount of people that we have in our emergency operations system. We have over 60 people in there at any given time. And they're from different aspects of the parish, departments, and also state agencies that come in there and sit in that operations center on a 24-hour basis, making sure that things are being done, and if anything comes up that needs to be taken care of, they're in there.
Right.
That is the heart of that operation. You know, everybody will come to me and say, "Man, you did a good job." So no, it's not me. I got actually it's 53 people in there, but they have to have a replacement. So it's over 100 people. I try not to let anybody work more than 12 hours.
Okay,
that's good.
A lot of stress in that in there, and then they kind of lose some of their efficiency after 12 hours. But it's a great group of people we have in there, and over the last 12 years, we've developed a camaraderie, and they know what they need to do. And so I mostly tell people that, you know, I'm kind of like the captain of the ship, making sure it goes straight, but they're actually doing all the work.
They're like
to
your
make,
second
to make the
family.
ship
I mean,
go.
it's
It has been this year.
yeah. 2020. What else has not gone wrong?
I'm sure y'all been very active this year.
It's been very unusual, I tell you, to have that many storms in the Gulf of Mexico in 1 year, and to have such a major storm like Hurricane Laura to impact our coastline. Before Laura, it was a storm that hit Last Island in 1836, I think, was the storm that was as strong as Laura.
The last one that's
Right.
strong. Wow.
So, and you think that far back, you would think we had hit.
Yeah,
You would think
between
with all
each
the
one,
big storms we've
and I'm
had.
sure,
But,
I'm sure you get a little nervous when you hear 2 storms one time.
Well, that's, I really didn't get nervous, but I did tell everybody, so look, we're going to take one storm at a time.
Right.
We can't worry about, Marco came first and then Laura. So look, we got to take care of Marco first, and then we'll worry about Laura. So, and kind of telling people, kind of keep them calm and say, that's what we need to
And
do.
this is not something, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is not something that's, just hurricane season. You're there dealing with this 365 days a year, right?
Yeah, we're most vulnerable to hurricanes, but we're prepared for any type of technological disaster, like cybersecurity.
Right.
We handle those things. We'll do, terrorism type stuff. It's bioterrorism.
The hurricane threat's the biggest threat, obviously.
That's our
with
biggest
natural
vulnerability.
disasters.
And then next comes flooding,
Right.
or rainfall.
Which
Excessive
happens all year
rainfall.
round.
Which is a big problem over here.
I'll tell you, Gordy Dove, as the parish president, has done a great job with drainage.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, and also boosting up our levee system. We get
on
less
floodgates.
calls now than what we had. And you look around the community, you'll see activity going on. Pump stations being built.
Everywhere.
So,
Cleaning and
yeah,
all that stuff.
and I tell you, it takes a lot of money to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and Gordy's done a good job with managing the funding from the parish and finding the dollars to get these projects going.
Well, we had Chris Pulaski on last week, and he kind of touched on the same thing. It's just everything, that happens all year long, and it's just, everybody involved, and it's kind of really good to hear so many people, because y'all haven't been the only ones that mentioned that. I mean, it's been every guest. pretty
Almost
much.
every guest has said, how good
every-
the administrations have been.
The people that know behind the scenes,
Right.
how much work and effort's been going on.
it takes to do these things.
I got to tell you, the administration and parish government right now has really supported our office and given us the tools that we need to make sure that the residents of this parish are safe. We have flooding events. You got tornadoes.
Yeah.
We are very active in training the teachers and principals in active shooter events in the schools. We've been out into the private community, training private industry on what to do if you have an active shooter. So, theoretically, our office can just sit there and prop up our feet and wait for something to happen. But that's not what we do.
You're preventative.
Yeah,
Trying to be
we
preventative.
go out there and find the need and what needs to be done within the parish, and we'll go out there and try to fix things. And our office manages the only hazardous materials response team in the parish.
Right.
So we have about 20, 25 members on what we call our PRAT team. It's called the Parish Rapid Assessment Team. Typically almost any hazardous material event that occurs in this parish, we can go out and respond to it and take care of the situation until the private party, or what we call a responsible party, gets their crew out there to handle it. The guy that runs that is Thomas Long. He's a hazmat specialist. Long history of doing that type of work. He does a great job for us. And you got to remember, guys, we got a major railway that comes through Terrebonne Parish.
True.
We got major waterways, and we got a major highway.
Right.
And all three of those, we have hazardous materials traversing those areas all day long, all night long.
Yes. It's interesting to me that like how much is involved in that, because I mean, somebody hears your job title, or where you at and what you're doing, and they automatically think storms,
Hurricane.
That's it.
Yeah. They're like,
I mean, I know I text you every hurricane and say, hey,
Should I stay or should I go now?
yeah, like, what do I need to do? And then you tell me. But a lot of people don't realize everything that is involved in y'all offices.
it's funny because after hurricane, people say, "So what are you going to do the rest of the 6 months?" I'm like,
We got a lot to do.
I said, so we do hurricane planning the 6 months before hurricanes,
Right.
and then during hurricane season, we do the hazmat and terrorism type planning and active shooter planning during that time. So we got a busy schedule.
Constantly busy.
Yeah.
Oh, very busy. So those that don't know, where is we got a very nice building up in Gray.
Great. So I have a 13,000 square foot building up there. We left about a 6,000 square foot building. It was an old oil field office.
Right.
Good upgrade.
So the front was the offices, the back was like a warehouse. Sheet metal, probably withstand a strong thunderstorm.
Not even the pressure.
Yeah. So fortunately, after Gustav, the parish president at the time, Michelle Claudette, put aside $2 million to get us a new building. And then, so we did the planning and the design from that. We had Merlin Lerat was the primary architect.
Merlin Lerat?
Not Merlin, I'm sorry. Houston Lerat was the primary. And then,
Is that related to Noah Lee Red?
I hope so.
No, Merlin's his dad. That's why I said
Merlin's his
Merlin's his
dad.
dad.
Merlin's an
It wasn't
architect
Merlin.
too.
It was Noah. Not
Merlin's coming on the show.
But Houston was the primary, and we were able to use an architect out of Winter Park, Florida, called the Architect Design Group.
Okay.
And all they did was design public safety buildings.
Wow.
Awesome.
So they came in and collaborated with Houston, and we built this great facility. We got about $4.2 million from state capital outlay.
Wow.
Total cost of the building was about $7 million. It'll withstand a Cat 5 hurricane.
Wow.
It's built to that standard. So,
Big
and then,
cement walls.
oh, yeah, 8 inches thick.
Cement.
And the roof is it's got 6 inches of concrete, 2 inches of what they call a soft concrete,
Right.
whatever that is. So, and all the steel beams are encased in the ground and cemented in the ground.
So it's pretty impressive.
The building's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
It's
it's not going
pretty
anywhere.
impressive.
They got
You've
pilings,
been in there,
pilings
so it's kinda
underneath
like-
the building.
Well,
Like, we just kind of hear some rain going.
Yeah, well, you don't hear in bad weather. You don't hear anything on the outside. But we haven't had a major hurricane that was to test the building.
Knock on wood,
But
thank God.
I feel comfortable with it. And people ask me, what about a tornado? I think it would probably withstand an F2.
Really?
Yeah, I think we'll be
That's
okay with
pretty
an
impressive.
F2. So and
And
then
it's protecting all your people in there because in there.
It's the war room, man. I mean,
Yeah.
when it's getting down and dirty, that's where y'all go.
that's where
Make sure everybody's
that's where the
going to be
decisions
safe.
are being made.
Right.
So and then I always said, guys, we need to do something for our first responders.
Yeah.
So we applied for a grant through FEMA to build a safe room. So we have a safe room it's not connected to the emergency operations center, but it's directly behind it.
That's built already.
It's already built. We can house 250 first responders
Wow.
in there. So now that we ask people to stay for hurricanes and help us out and everything, we can put them in there 24 hours, 12 hours before landfall. They have a safe place to stay and ride out the storm. Same construction. I say same construction. It was designed for a Cat 4, okay, because that's all FEMA would allow us to build because we're further inland.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so, and FEMA didn't have anything to do with our emergency operations center, so we built it to a Cat 5. But I saw the construction of that safe room.
Right.
It's built the same way the Cat 5.
It's gonna take it.
It's gonna hold up.
And you have one on the east side, right?
And there's one on the east side, next to behind the fire station.
Behind the fire station,
And
right there.
that's so we can house emergency response personnel on the east side in case we ever get cut off, because the intercoastal goes in between, cuts us in half. So if something happens on the east side, we have people there.
You got people housed and
Right.
safe. ready
So that
to go.
way, if something happens to the tunnel, to the
Yeah.
twin spans or
Right.
something, we have people on that side.
Worst case scenario, you have people
That's
on each
correct.
side
Some
to take care of
catastrophic.
Terrebonne Parish.
That's what
That's impressive. It's really. I've seen these buildings. They're nice.
I like a tour one day. Just go
Yeah,
walk
come
around.
on by, man. Like, I open it up to anybody. If you want to come by and visit, it's kind of different now with COVID. Okay, but
come to next year.
before, we would ask the public to come see it. It's a public building.
Yeah.
The public pays for it. And before they just didn't have the space, but now we have space to put in federal and state agencies to embed with us during an emergency. So that way, if we need something, they're right there. We can touch them and say, "Hey guys, we need this." So it's been great.
It's kind of good to know, like,
Maybe we do the podcast a little bit.
hey, next
Yeah.
hurricane we'll go over there and do something.
If the hurricane's passing around on Wednesday, maybe we'll call Earl and say, "Hey, do you mind if we use the building on
I mean,
Wednesday?"
as
It's like, "No, I got 85 people here. What do y'all do? We got to fill the."
as somebody that lives in South Louisiana and lives in Terrebonne Parish, it's good to know that y'all got what y'all need, and y'all are prepared, and y'all
protected,
taking this
man.
serious, and y'all are protected because y'all are asked to stay here no matter what. And it's, we all leave and y'all are left behind.
Yeah, we have to. Somebody's got to stay.
Yeah.
And so we're fortunate, like I said, to have the building that we're having.
Here's my big question.
What's the big question?
What kind of snacks y'all got in
Oh
there?
man, we got all kind of hurricane snacks. Okay, so
What kind of hurricane
Manny,
snacks?
you know me. Okay, so my
I know
deal.
you're a foodie like myself.
Well, that's right. So my deal is, if I can keep my people in there happy, they're gonna work. Okay,
Yeah.
Everybody likes to eat.
Yeah, everybody.
Okay, so but it's kind of.
We love to eat.
So we have lots of snacks, okay, but I do, the public needs to know the first 72 hours, this is what you get. You get a breakfast sandwich, and at lunch you get a warm sandwich, and at night you get a hot sandwich if you toast the bread. Okay, so for the first
5-star, bro.
yeah, so the first 72 hours, we're eating sandwich. Now, I will tell you this: if we activate it for more than 5 days, and we know we're going to be further on, we have a contract to provide food to the parish employees that have to recover, and also to our emergency operations center. So you can't expect people not to have food
Right.
and try to restore the
I'm
parish.
sure there's a secret drawer with some like Kit Kats or something.
They got a whole
No, they
good stuff
take
in
good
there.
care of us.
Good
I mean,
snack.
I know I would have some Reese's
I'll
Pieces
tell
in
you
there,
this.
son. Beef jerky.
Leilani Adams is the secretary of administration, and so is Debbie Ortego. They make sure that our people are taken care of in that office when there's a storm that comes up. And they don't get a lot of accolades, and they don't like it, but I like to tell them all the time. And they actually come in and cook us some breakfast in the morning.
That's good.
And Dean Swess comes and cooks us a jambalaya.
That's awesome.
When we
There you
activate,
go.
so I call it
Get
the
your guests between the
I
barrels.
call it the hurricane
November
jambalaya.
11th?
Okay.
The hurricane.
So,
the hurricane live. I like it.
So, and he does a great job, and we appreciate that he does that for us.
Yeah.
But,
It does make a good jambalaya.
but
Another great guy in the community.
Yeah, you make your people happy, feed them, and
And they're
they'll
gonna
work for
produce.
you, man. They
Everybody has
do
a
a good
full
job.
belly. They can do whatever you ask them to do.
That's it.
It's good to know that there's a whole team working for us
Right.
and helping us out in Terrebonne Parish. And we really do appreciate all of y'all. I'm sure it gets a little hectic in there.
Well, it does sometimes. I always say when we first activate, those first 2 to 3 hours, everybody's trying to find their position, make sure they have what they need, and our office is kind of scurrying around, making sure everybody has what they need. But after that the fourth or fifth hour, kind of starts calming down.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things we do is evacuate the parish if we
Right.
have to. So in a major storm, a Cat 3 or 4 or 5, we will call for a mandatory evacuation. So we're prepared to ship 3,000 people to the city of Monroe. We have a contract with the city of Monroe for their convention center of there to house just Terrebonne Parish residents.
Did not know that.
So it'll hold more than 3,000. but that's what we would bus up there.
And there would be evacuees who just had nowhere to stay. Worst case scenario.
No, they either don't have a place to go or they don't have a ride. They don't have a
Yeah.
car that can get them somewhere else. So for Gustav, they evacuated 2,600. So we added another 400 to that number, and so we're prepared to 100 school buses, 30 people to a bus, their luggage, whatever they need, and I have 30. Well, I got about 115 school bus drivers that work for Terrebonne Parish government. They're on contract with the parish. So the minute we start the contract, they become parish employees,
Right.
and we use the parish school
they're
buses
lined
to
up
start
to go.
busing everybody to.
That's
to
really
Monroe.
That's really reassuring.
So,
Like for people who don't have nowhere to go, like you said, they're
and since we were so prepared to take on those evacuees and make sure that they were taken care of, the state of Oklahoma contacted us, and they're going to run our shelter in Monroe.
Really?
So they have this thing called Shelter in a Box, and they're going to come and run our shelter and make sure, and we're going to have our own people up there, police
But
officers.
it's like what, a non-profit
shelter
that
manager.
comes and helps
No,
out?
it's actually the state office of Homeland Security Emergencies Preparedness will go
really?
up there
Right.
in Oklahoma. They're going to come over and they're going to run our
just
shelter. So
because you could be dealing with a storm down here. You know, you can't worry about it.
That's-
You know, even though you're worried about them, you can't help them.
right, but I have somebody that sits in my office. Their job is to take care of evacuees.
Right.
So any issue that goes on up there, it gets
T's
trickled down
crossed and
for
I's
us.
sound dotted.
And so it's, I mean, to evacuate 3,000 people on school buses it's a tremendous task. They all have to be registered. All their pets have to be registered. The luggage has to be registered.
Things you don't even think about.
You got to put them on the bus. You got to provide them with a snack. They got to get 2 bottles of water. It's a 6-hour ride to the street to
School
Monroe.
buses don't have a bathroom,
All right.
so I mean, you
well,
can run
so,
into some problems.
6
well,
hours.
so we made an agreement with Louisiana Department of Transportation. There's a rest area on I-49 just out of Opelousas.
Right.
We're gonna stop there. They get to use the bathroom, pick up another bottle of water, put them back
Stretch
on the
their
bus,
legs, get back
and go back
tell
up
you what, y'all are prepared.
to Monroe.
It was like prepared.
So, and the things you have to think about. I mean,
Right.
you always got to be thinking about what's next.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what happens if the bus breaks down?
Right.
All right. So, I contacted all the school boards and all the sheriff's offices. If you see a Terrebonne Parish bus on the side of the road, that's my evacuees. You need to stop and help that bus.
Right.
Okay. And then, I mean, we'll be in communications with them, but you never know what could happen. When we got cellular phones that have GPS, I know where these buses are. Somebody's watching it. If it's on the side of the road for more than 5 or 10 minutes, you call the
know.
sheriff's office over there and say, I got a bus on the side of the road. Please go check on it. If the bus breaks down, I got to call the school board and say, can I borrow one of your buses? We got to get these people to Monroe.
There's a lot
bring them back.
going into this.
It's a tremendous task to evacuate people.
And look, I love that people might ask you, what else y'all do the rest of the 6 months, like you said earlier? Really? Well, this stuff don't happen overnight. You know, you don't just wake up and say, oh, let's put all this together.
It's a
Coming up with
tremendous
my list.
Right.
For the rest of the year.
We're down to the point to where, we got to protect the children that evacuate too. When that child gets an armband, it only has their last name on it. Because you don't want nobody to make friends with somebody.
Right,
that they're
right.
not so, but if you're in there and somebody says, hey, Manny, come see, that child thinks that you know that person. They have some association with your family.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's down to that level on trying to protect
Like you're
these
thinking
evacuees
of
and
basically
things.
everything.
Well, and we haven't thought of it.
And right, there's still some things probably that may have
There's going to
fell
be
through.
some bumps and bruises when we do, because we've never had a major evacuation since Gustav. So there will be some bumps and bruises, and we'll fix those, when they occur,
Once
and
we
then
go.
we'll redo the plan after.
Right.
Man, you're like
So-
Coach O, bro. You always just
Adapting.
Like I said, I could sit there and just prop our feet up.
Yeah.
But that's not how to do that.
Yeah.
That's not your style.
No.
Oh, you got a
It's
good
awesome.
team around you. That's
Yeah,
good.
and that's
And you're
the
a
good
go-getter.
part.
What's if you can answer this question? What I just thought about it. What is the most stressed you've been in this job? Like, what is something that's worried you the most?
What's worried me the most is okay, I'll tell you what worries me the most. I'm not too worried about hurricanes and stuff like that. I'm worried about a terrorist attack in Terrebonne Parish.
Different
Dude,
things.
we have the second largest Mardi Gras outside of New Orleans. Okay, we have events all the time where there's lots and lots of people. We have major waterways here that traverse the oil and gas industry. Yeah, we got a railroad here. We got an airport. And we're moving so many people. So we constantly are preparing for that type of incident. we can manage it till the feds come in. The feds are going to have to take over anyway. We had a meeting today with DHS, and we're like, okay, we need to start planning for the Mardi Gras. So things are going on in the background that nobody knows. Okay.
Constantly planning.
It's October. I'm planning for Mardi Gras next year. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff that goes on that, and that concerns me. It's to have some type of bioterrorism.
I mean,
we'll adapt.
anything in your line of work that's presented problems with the COVID and stuff like that?
No, not really.
Other than social distancing and stuff like
Well,
that.
I mean, we haven't been able to do the training we need
Right,
to
with the
do
private
because,
sectors.
just with ourselves because trying to do the social distancing and so the training has been an issue. But other than that, and trying to make sure that everybody has the PPE that they needed. Like at the beginning, it was very hard to get a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you couldn't find a face mask.
Yeah,
Gloves, face masks,
gloves. The gloves are still hard
Gloves
to
still
find
are.
today.
Remember Ryan said that the gloves are still real hard to
And I
come
mean,
by.
that's some stuff that people use on a day-to-day basis before COVID, latex gloves.
I mean,
Things like that.
when you could go to Harbor Freight and they got Black's nitrile gloves. Right. So
That's what I cook with.
well, I know, tell everybody. So everybody's like, "Where can I get gloves?" So go to Harbor Freight.
Not for sale.
And when all that occurred, I mean, you had industry helping out. Providing PPE that they had to the medical industry. So I'm a positive type of guy. I'm always optimistic. We're going to get through this. Right. We're going to have a vaccine that's going to come out for the COVID. I hope it works. But if it don't work, we're going to have another 6 months or whatever, a year of this. But they're going to continue to work on getting a vaccine.
Right.
Okay. So it just takes time. I mean, we're trying to produce a vaccine in 18 months. Okay, when it usually takes 5 to 6 years.
Yeah, that we've never had before.
Okay, now
trying to
people
put the squeeze on.
People are working overtime and trying to
Right.
labs are 24 hours and whatever, and they're going to come out with something. But we're going to get through this. And I'm not real political. I don't care who the president is or not. It doesn't matter who the president is. We're going to get through this COVID incident, one way or the other.
So talk to me a little bit about giving back to the community. It's you are, I know for a fact that you're very big on that. You are part of United Way,
Board member.
Board member. You volunteer a bunch of different things. I know you volunteered for the downtown events and different things like that. Kind of speak on that. What that means to you, living here,
Giving
in this
back.
community, just giving back.
Yeah, well, that's a trait that my dad taught me.
Yeah.
My dad was very active in the community. I grew up in Patterson, Louisiana. He was very active in the community. Every time something was going on, I'd ask, "Can I go with you?" And so I kind of got that instilled from my father. And when I went to school at Nichols, I got active at Nichols and also in the city of Thibodeau. I thought I would live the rest of my life there, but my wife fortunately got a job at Terrebonne General, so we ended up moving to Homeland. And I found like the best way to become involved in your community is to get active.
Yeah.
So we became members of St. Francis de Sales Church, got active in the church, got to know people in there, and just spread out from
Chicken
there.
dinners.
Cooking barbecue chicken for St. Francis de Sales
2
School.
o'clock in the morning.
All right, 3,000 halves of chicken. Who thought you would cook that many chickens? But and I found that when you get active in the community and you join these organizations, you get camaraderie.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, you meet new friends.
Right.
And so I've always tried to do as much as I could back to the community. I do belong to quite a few boards, and some of them I've gotten off of. But a lot of people have asked me to run for political office.
Yeah.
School board, parish council, and that's not really what I want to do.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I can do just as good for my community by joining these boards and becoming active in these organizations.
And it's something that we all can do, right? You and I have
Anybody
talked
can.
about that. I'm recently started getting a little bit more involved with United Way and different things like that. And it's something that everybody can give back to their community, and it's something that's very,
Something's
very
needed.
important.
You need to give back.
Well, one of the things we don't have a lot of is I say volunteer.
Yeah.
and we all belong to different organizations. It's the same people doing the same thing all the time.
Right.
And a lot of us say, yeah, it's always the same people, but we enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why it's always the same people. But to go out and volunteer to help with something.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's how you give back. It gives you an opportunity to be able to volunteer and provide for your community.
It's awesome. We have a good time.
Oh, look, I always
We've been
say,
to many events, and it's really fun.
I've always said, if you can't have fun, then probably don't do it. But I was very active with the chamber. I've been with United Way as a board member for a long time. Just joined the hospital board here at Terrebonne General. I just enjoy that.
Giving back.
Just providing for your community and trying to help your community get better. I was on the board for the Downtown Festival. I love doing that. I'm just sad that we don't have that anymore.
Right.
Is that ever coming back?
So
or?
I don't know. It started off with a big grant from BP from the oil spill. And
That was
everything.
really cool.
That was a cool time. The first couple of years was really fun.
You talk about the background, what happens in the background, and it takes a lot of money, a lot of volunteers, a lot of time to go and host something like that.
The whole downtown area.
It was a Friday night, Saturday, Sunday deal. I mean, it was awesome.
Setup.
I was talking to Noah telling when the revivalists came.
Yeah.
I mean,
Actually,
that was
cool.
Actually, Mitch and I
awesome.
were talking about that this weekend. We were listening to the revivals, and I mean, they blew up directly after they played downtown Homeland, the street in front of the court.
Yeah.
They played in Main Street in front of the bank.
Yeah. And it was a good time. And look, Homeland just has so much to offer people. And it's just such a treasure. And I'm not from here originally.
Right.
Right.
So, but I love it here. I love the people here. It's such a great community. And we're not. You want to go to New Orleans? You want the big city? You're 40 minutes away.
Go ahead.
You want to go to the beach? Go to Grand Isle. You're
That's
another
right.
45 minutes.
That's right. You want to fish and hunt, and but I think we need some more cultural activities here.
Absolutely.
And I think we're going to get to that point. It's just going to take us a little while. I think there's a lot of people on the downtown development board that have great ideas.
Right.
That we can make this a day stop.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
A destination, like somewhere you're like, hey, I want to go hang out.
People go to New Orleans, and then they say, oh, look, we're going to take a drive down to home.
Right.
Because they got
Let's go
this,
downtown.
45
that,
minutes,
they
we
got
can
this
do all
going
three
on.
downtown real
Right.
quick.
So
They got great food as well.
Yeah, and so I think there's a lot of things that we can do, and I hope it comes to fruition. Y'all had Chris Pulaski on here. Chris has
Right.
got some great
He's got
ideas.
solid
We talked a lot about with him. And
Got it.
things.
He's very creative. He's just,
Right.
he can vision things, and think out the box.
Yeah. Speaking on food, though, let me ask you this real quick. Your favorite Cajun dish?
Oh, my favorite Cajun dish.
That's it. You can
only
have
eat
one
one
Cajun
left.
dish. You could have one more. The rest of you eating it one time.
It's gonna have to be gumbo.
Gumbo.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a great
And I
idea.
eat gumbo in the summer. I have an air conditioner in my
I
house.
can't understand how people say, man, it's hot. We can't eat gumbo. Turn it down to 65 and get some shrimp gumbo.
Hey, look, it dipped down to 79 degrees. The roof started Saturday. I was cooking gumbo Saturday. Hey, well, screw it.
I always said if something happened to me and I was unemployed, I'd probably move to the Northwest up there and maybe open up a Cajun restaurant.
And cook
Yeah,
a real
there you go.
gumbo.
And then have plate lunches,
Yeah.
and have people to eat. So this is what we really eat.
And what is your gumbo that you like? Chicken sausage, shrimp?
I like, you know what I like? I like chicken and sausage, and I like oysters in my chicken and sausage.
Really?
Never
Yeah.
heard
A little chicken and sausage oyster gumbo.
Yeah, and the oysters give it a good flavor.
Right.
Okay.
Wow.
So that's my favorite.
That's
Okay.
very interesting.
Other than that, man, I love to eat, as you can tell, and so
Dude.
other than that, man, there ain't much I don't
We
like.
trade recipes. We cook a mighty good jambalaya.
Yeah.
You cook
Go ahead.
you cook some kettle corn like nobody's business. You know that. In a big black
Halloween's
pot.
coming up. Cook that kettle corn.
Oh,
boy.
the kettle corn is good, I tell you. But and that's another thing I like to do. I like to cook. If I got time to do it, and if somebody needs somebody to cook a jambalaya or something. I don't have the best jambalaya in the world, but you know I can cook a pretty
enjoy
good
going to do it,
jambalaya. I
help
enjoy
out. Once
doing it,
again,
help
you help
people out.
out.
You got a pretty cool pellet smoker.
Oh, I love my pellet smoker. I've been having that for about a year. I researched that for almost a year before I bought the brand that I bought, and it is the best thing I ever bought.
You've been a little busy.
And I will tell you this. When I pull that thing out, it's going to rain that day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't have a covered area, nothing right now. So if you need some rain, just let me know. I'll pull the
you pull the
smoke
smoker out.
out. But I like experimenting, you know, like
Trying
different injections and marinades. And,
rubs,
you know, everybody's like,
things.
like, it don't taste like last time. No, it don't. Is it better or worse? Well, it's okay. So, well, I tried a new marinade.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know until you try something. You know.
Well,
and I tell you what.
the love of cooking.
I tell you who has the best shish kebab sauce in the world.
Who's that? Yeah.
It's a secret though.
He died with it.
Really?
Unfortunately.
So you don't know the secret?
That's one thing he never passed on
Oh,
to me.
his dad had the best shish kebab sauce.
Really?
Unfortunately, he passed away with that one.
So, but
It was very good.
That's another thing, man. You go see people cook and you see, oh man, I didn't know you did that. I didn't know. Is that
Right.
what you do? Oh, I'm gonna have to try that next time. And you know, I would say out of all the states in the country, we probably have the most men that can cook.
I
Absolutely.
would think that's a fair statement.
Absolutely.
You know, because basically everybody's sitting in here to cook.
So if you're honest, if you're a woman and you live out of state, okay, you're looking for somebody to cook for you, okay, come down to Louisiana. I'm sure you'll find you
We got a
a
terrible
man
parish.
to
We
cook
got a
for
bunch
you.
of dudes over here that can cook. What are you sipping on?
I got an old fashioned here,
This,
and
this is the most popular drink with guests.
It is.
I
The
think.
guests really love
it
the
is
old papa.
very good.
That's the old-
And they
It's
call it
his,
an
it's
old
his
papa.
twist on the old for fat.
Yeah, I
Old
tell you,
papa.
it is really good.
It's the
Old
old
fashioned
papa
shit.
from Bayou Terrebonne.
I mean, I'm excited, man. You know, you want to talk about a secret? Like my office, my building's a
Yeah.
secret. This place is a secret.
This place
You know how many
is a
times I pass by here and like, oh, I wonder what it looks like in there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, well,
It's a jewel in here.
So,
that's for
oh,
sure.
it definitely.
You
Noah
took
did
the
it
tour
right.
for about an hour.
I took the tour.
and it was really cool. And like you said, a lot of people don't realize what's
I
going
know
on.
it's an awesome place, man. And my son likes to drink whiskey, so I'm going to set him up.
There you go.
You are a part of another club that you and I are part of together. Club Section 412. 412. Shout out to everybody. Tiger Stadium, Section 412.
Yeah, 412.
So what are they going to look like this year?
Well, I think we're going to do okay. You know, Brendan's not proven.
Right.
You know, so we're going to have
I read an
to.
article today.
We're going to have to
all
see how
his-
that works out. I
All
mean,
his troubles.
you know, I think we have the wide receivers. You know, I think we'll be okay with that. We just got to get the ball to him. And I mean, the guy's got big shoes to fill.
He's got the biggest ever, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the
I
best,
mean, he's had the
greatest
best
season ever.
for a player
Yeah.
in NCAA history.
So,
I mean,
and we as the fans can't expect this guy to come in there and just be another Heisman Trophy
No.
guy.
Okay.
So
We hope it happens.
well, yeah, you hope it
yeah, I mean,
happens.
I think he's got the talent. I think he's good.
Yeah,
I
and
got the confidence, Coach O. What's
Yeah,
up?
Coach O,
South
Tigers.
South Lafourche guy. Go Tigers.
Sal LaFouche, class of '96, right here.
he, I don't know if y'all saw him on 60 Minutes.
Yes,
Watch a little
absolutely.
bit of it. I got to record it.
I think he did a great job, but I think the country wants to listen to his mama.
Right, yeah. They love Coco.
They love Coco.
Oh, Coco.
Yeah, man.
You know, and I
She
think
fed that boy a gumbo,
He
a
fed
chicken
him
sausage
gumbo.
gumbo.
Yeah.
I don't know if they had oysters in it, but she fed him the gumbo,
know,
and he was like, "This is delicious."
And I'm listening to that, and I'm thinking, you know, the rest of the country's watching, you know, this lady and from La Rose, and has that, you know, thick French accent, you know, and can see the joy in her, you know, that
She had a fantastic interview
yeah.
week before the national
yeah,
championship.
she sure did.
She had a fantastic
Her
interview.
pride beams through her.
Oh
for her
yeah,
son,
I mean, you want her to be your mama.
right, absolutely.
Okay, no matter
Yes.
where you at in the country, you want her
You
to
can
be.
relate to
You want her to be your mama.
Sweet little
Relate to
Cajun
the
lady.
love.
Yeah. So, but I think the Tigers will do okay. I mean, I think we're picked to come out second in the SEC again, of course, behind
I saw
Alabama.
today in the West they had us
Yeah.
pegged as
Bama,
second.
baby.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to.
I can't wait.
I'm looking forward to football on Saturday.
Just to get kind of back to normal.
Yeah,
I'm
just a
looking
little
forward
bit.
to it.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, and then and we'll see what happens. You know, but I think with Coach O there, and if we continue to do well, they continue to do the recruiting,
Continue to recruit,
we'll
right.
come back.
Yeah.
And you can't, as much as we want to, you can't win the national championship every year.
Nope.
Everything just has
No, but boy, it'd be nice if we could.
things just so
Just
much.
beat Bama every year, and I'll
Yeah.
be happy.
Just beat
So
Bama.
much has to fall into place.
Right, here we go. Quick question for you. Play Pedro?
I do play Pedro.
Do you play cutthroat or do you play follow suit?
We play
You
follow
from what?
suit.
You from Patterson, right?
I know, but I learned
Same
that
there.
nickel.
Okay, I need to follow this tree here.
Yeah, so I learned how to play Pedro at Nichols. So,
Okay.
to me, if it rained that day, it was a rainy day schedule.
Right.
Yeah.
So you went to the union
You
instead.
played Pedro.
And you didn't want to go to the class, you're going to get all wet. So we stayed there and played Pedro. Okay. But I
like
had
a
to
great
leave at
time.
11 o'clock to go see the Days of Our Lives.
You had a tight schedule back then.
Yeah,
even.
we had a tight schedule. And then
A lot of people don't realize the impact of days. Listen, I worked offshore, and you will be surprised what happens at 11 o'clock. Platform shut down, okay?
To watch the Days of Our Lives.
Grown men get out and I gotta go. Days of Our Lives is on.
I don't know how that
Clean my
happened.
hands
Tyler's
up.
in the background. He agrees with me.
Oh, yeah.
You have seen the
They
offshore
got
thing.
alarms going off every day.
Yeah, no.
Shut down.
I've seen crane operators stop cranes over the water. Oh no, we gotta go.
Days of Our
So
Lives.
I do play follow suit.
Okay, follow
Okay.
suit.
Now I don't know if that's a Terrebonne deal.
That's a
or
Lafourche deal,
or
which,
Lafourche
hey, that's
deal.
how I learned.
So, but I mean, I learned at Nichols, so that's
Right.
probably why
Makes
that's how we
nothing
play.
wrong with that.
And then,
It's a hot topic on Between the Barrels.
well, that's okay. It's just, I hope we're not losing. I haven't been to the student union in a while. Are they still playing Pedro in the student union?
No idea.
I don't know. I've never been to the student union.
Maybe we can
we
do some
play
reconnaissance.
Pedro Wednesday nights, usually right here.
We've taught some more people that didn't know what Pedro was. We taught them how to play, and every once in a while, they come to the house, we'll play some Pedro.
Right.
But it's not. I don't play every week. Okay, so I don't know all the signals.
Right. Yeah.
Me neither.
Yeah. Wink, wink, wink.
Another thing, when in St. Mary, we played Boo-Ray a lot.
I could play Boo-Ray for some
Okay.
quarters. We used to
Yeah.
play that on the crew boat.
So we played Boo-Ray, and then when I went to Nichols, that's how I learned.
Yeah, they don't want to hear the Boo-Ray. They want to
I
play.
don't know.
Let's play
Pedro.
Pedro.
What the hell is Blu-ray?
It's basically
That's
close
what
to
I was
Pedro,
about to
but
talk about it.
it's basically spades.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's basically spades, Boo-Ray.
All right,
Pick
so
a suit.
one final question I'd like to ask you is, what direction would you like to see Terrebonne Parish in the next 5-10 years?
Well, I'd like to see the downtown area become, a place for people to enjoy, to come out, bring the downtown out to live.
More
again.
relevant.
More relevant. I think we need some shops. My biggest, what I'd like to do, and it'll never happen, but I thought it'd be awesome. When you come out of the tunnel on the, let's say, on the west side of the tunnel, and I know people live there, and people have houses there, and there's businesses there. I'd like to bulldoze all that and make it like a pedestrian mall with shops.
That would be
All
cool.
the way to Barrow
To
Street.
Barrow Street.
Okay.
Right.
And just make that a pedestrian mall with
That'd be cool.
and,
really
and-
cool.
antique shops,
Couple
craft
vehicles,
shops, a couple places maybe you can enjoy something to eat, have a drink or so. But I always, since I lived there, I thought that'd be a great idea.
Yeah.
No, don't get me wrong. People live there. People have their houses there. They
Yeah,
grew
you don't
up
wanna
there.
displace people
Yeah,
when
you
you're
don't want to
saying it.
displace people. But
Right.
that'd be a good thing to do. But we have, like I said, we have a treasure here with downtown.
Yeah.
I was telling Noah that the first time I walked down the Bayou Walk, I didn't even think I was in Homeland anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't
And
realize.
we've talked about that
Okay.
too on here. It's like, open up the bayou.
Just
area,
redeveloping
just
that
doing
bayou and
different
making
Yeah,
it a focal point.
and I know Chris has got some great ideas of
Yes.
what to do downtown to kind of slow the traffic down, do
Right.
diagonal parking. Just make it the place you want to come to.
Like you said,
every
a
day.
Bring your
destination,
kids.
Even if you in New
Bring your
Orleans.
kids, yeah, and for New Orleans, and I'm like I said, I didn't grow up here, but Noah said they used to have P-road races in the bayou.
How fun would that be?
Yeah, well, just
be so cool.
some type of a place where you can have an
9.9.
maybe you can have an activity. You need a venue to where you can have an activity maybe every week.
Right. Yeah.
That people are calling you saying, "Hey, can I rent the amphitheater this week?" Okay, like people rent the Civic Center.
Right.
Okay, can I rent the amphitheater? We want to do this.
Well, how cool is like
you know,
downtown live
to-
after 5 and things like that?
Well,
It's-
it's a great opportunity, but I just we have a jewel here.
yeah,
Right.
Okay,
For sure.
and we need
we
to
need to
take that
polish it and
polish it.
Make it shine.
I think Dean Schwess is doing a great job at the Civic Center. Bringing in more things.
Right.
I love the library. I don't. If you never had a chance to go to the library,
It is cool.
That thing's state of the art.
you need to
That's
go to the
very-
library. That's another building that when you walk into it, you don't think you're in Houma anymore.
Right.
So and I think we just need some more events to get people to come in. Southdown is a great place to have an event. And, I mean, we do the craft show there. We did
Roof for a Reason.
Roof for a Reason. The hamburger.
Yeah, the hamburger cook-off.
Yeah, that the Rotary does.
beer thing
I mean,
they
it's
do.
such a great event of where to get people together. The trees are there. You got shade. You got the pavilion, and so we have this stuff here. We just need to find ways to utilize it.
Yeah, I agree.
And you got to have a venue. You got to have something to get the people to come out. And I think once you start doing that, more and more people come, and you invite your friends to come.
It becomes infectious.
Yes. And I mean, you look at some of the stuff that we have that the people participate in. You go to downtown, the TFAE run.
Yeah.
You got thousands of people here.
And that's
for
been
that
going on
space,
for a long time.
And people love to come downtown.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
got to have the venue.
Absolutely.
And you got to have a nice place to come.
Yeah.
And I think we're getting there. I wish that we could relook and revisit the ordinance on the food trucks.
Actually, we brought that up with Chris. Chris actually brought it up last week, and you and I had that conversation
Yeah.
because we both want to open up a food truck.
Right.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I understand it's competition for the restaurants that are downtown. But the other thing, though, it brings people downtown.
Yeah.
So I may advertise that I got, Manning's Cuban tacos today.
Which are delicious.
Okay, yeah. But I may pass by one of the restaurants to see on their little menu thing and say, "Oh no, I'm going to pass on the tacos. I'm going here. I want this."
Right.
Okay.
The more people you bring downtown,
the more
everybody's
you
It's going to
have.
help everyone.
benefit.
Like Chris was saying, the ordinance might say you can't serve food till a little later when these restaurants are closed. Something to where we could adapt with food trucks and kind of be like where everyone else is.
Right. But I tell you what, I love coming downtown to eat.
Yep.
Okay.
I love to eat.
We used to frequent, Bolello's just closed now. I'm sorry to see that.
Yeah, that was
just
a great spot.
Found out this week that Earl Eues was closed, and that's going to be an empty spot. But we need to entice people to come in and fill those spots.
There needs to be enticements, like you said, to
Yeah.
those people.
So
fill those empty spots and just come in and let's do it.
And look, and I know it doesn't employ 150 people, but our economic development people need to go out and try to find somebody to fill that spot.
Yeah.
And the more that happens, the more the downtown area will become
Prosperous
a
it
place
can be.
people want to be every
Absolutely.
weekend.
For sure.
What else I'd like to see in Terrebonne Parish, and we're starting to do that, is have more public fishing places. We say we're sportsman's paradise, okay, but
We go wet a
somebody
line on the side of the road.
somebody comes from New Orleans, they don't have a place to go to fish.
Except the side
Now
of
we're
the road, like
changing
you
that.
said.
Okay, Wildlife Fisheries is building some piers, I guess you want to call it, off of Island Road.
Oh, really?
So and they building little parking spaces. Okay,
I like it.
I think we need more of that.
Yeah.
I'm just going to mention it. Maybe you could go to Laperou's grocery, say, I need to rent 2 fishing rods, buy some
Right.
bait, go fishing somewhere on these piers.
Yeah.
Or somebody can open up a kayak shop down the bayou and go rent a kayak for a couple hours or whatever.
Just go explore.
Calypso. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, but you got to have access. You got to give people access, and a lot of the land is owned and private property. So
advertise it.
and I think it would do good. I mean, look,
A lot of opportunity out there for
Right.
For
We'd have paradise,
advancement.
let everybody go out
That's
there.
right.
Give a space to everyone.
man, put some string lines down there. And go
Put your
do
white
some
boots
crabbing.
on and roll with it.
Yeah.
Do like Reeboks.
That's
You know,
it.
they said there's lots of people on Island Road, and I've seen it, but you drive down there during a nice day on the
Yeah.
weekend, it's crowded down there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
People
Hey,
fishing
you
off
can
the
get
side
you
of the
some,
road.
you get you some good groceries down there.
Yeah.
So Chad, who we got next week?
We got Jonathan Foray coming on next week.
We got Roo Fest.
Ruga Fest. Jonathan Foray sitting here next Wednesday between the barrels. Don't miss it.
Very good. Well,
Yeah.
looking forward to that. Mr. Earl, appreciate it.
Oh,
Appreciate
love
it
it, man.
always, man.
Enjoyed being here.
It's great hanging out with you and talking to you, and I really appreciate you
Appreciate
coming.
all your inside stuff that people don't know. The little things people don't know about. That's what we like trying to, get the people to talk
Yeah, for
about.
sure.
It's just awesome.
Man, this is a great
So
show.
we appreciate
man.
this
Well, I
stuff.
appreciate it, and very much enjoyed it. And for you and me and Chad, we out.
Between the barrels, we done.